Jill from the Best Baby Food Cookbook.
Yes, and I want to ask her a question. Um, when you have a mom and dad who are vegetarians,
Right.
do you recommend that the child be given some meats, or can they be vegetarian?
They can be vegetarian, yes, certainly. What you do want to do as a vegetarian and or vegan is understand that protein is very important for growing bodies. Important for growing bodies as well, but it's hugely important for growing bodies. So we've got to make sure that protein is coming into the diet. In a vegetarian, from a vegetarian aspect, you're going to get it mostly from beans and lentils, which certainly are among the first foods to introduce as well.
Right.
If dairy is part of the vegetarian diet, then you can get quite a bit of protein from dairy as well. So that's one of the things you want to really pay attention to, is making sure that there's adequate protein. It doesn't mean that it's a high protein diet, but it's adequate protein coming in regularly, not just, fruit or just vegetables.
Right, right.
Well, you've got vegetables, fruits, meat, dairy,
beans and lentils.
Beans and lentils, which would be would that be under vegetarian, wouldn't it?
Yes,
that would be under vegetarian.
Under vegetables,
yeah.
So,
and then your grains.
And the grains. So the book has really got a cross section of all of these different categories. So no matter what your dietary needs are or requirements are, or I guess even religious aspects of things,
precisely,
you can find this in this book. It's very nice.
Well, good, thank you.
I wish I'd have had this book before I sold my kids.
I wish I knew about this when I had mine. I like pasta with fresh herbs and Parmesan cheese. I mean, who doesn't like that?
Who wouldn't want that, right?
Yeah.
When I was growing up, back during the covered wagon days, I was very, very, very fussy eater. I went through my hot dog phase where that's all I would eat, and plain hamburger days and blah, blah, blah. But I think if I'd have had something, if my mother would have fed me something like this, I would have had a much more refined palate during my formidable years.
Well, what's nice about this book is it's got lots of things per recipe. It's got tips from the chef, which is flavor induced. It's got Jill's tips, which is nutrition highlighted, and then it tells you exactly what you need and what you're getting out of it, what the nutrition is. This one says half cup, but
so it gives you the yield.
Yeah, and it always says to buy organic milk products.
Well, we talk about the information about organics in there comes from the Environmental Working Group, that great American organization, EWG.org, and they have lists of what they call the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. The Dirty Dozen being the produce specifically, that if you eat that organically, then you're going to dramatically reduce your pesticide and herbicide load in the body. And then there's a list of the Clean 15 of pieces of produce that you wouldn't ever have to buy organically because they have low residual pesticides on them anyway. So very helpful information. Yeah.
Here's an important little box that she has on this page that I find very interesting. It's on Parmesan cheese. Is easy to digest because of its digestibility. Doctors in Italy recommend Parmesan cheese for babies.
Yeah,
its long aging process essentially pre-digest the proteins in the milk, making them readily available for the body to use. Parmesan cheese does not have any lactose, which is important for all of us older people.
Look how Sophia Loren turned out.
Yeah,
I mean, my God, there's the best argument for that little paragraph.
So Parmesan cheese is good for everybody.
Yeah,
Parmesan cheese is terrific. Yeah, and the majority of the adult population does have trouble with lactose. So it's great cheese for using and delicious flavor, of course.
Wow,
I would think that with
this is a great book.
Of farmers markets out there, there's absolutely no way, and even club stores like Costco have an organic section now.
Absolutely, you pretty much can get it anywhere, and a lot of the time there's no price difference between the two.
No, especially if you go to a farmer's market or you join a CSA.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Or a co-op, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Co-op,
Same
same
thing.
thing. What part of the country are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, I love Canada. We were just talking about
We were
you.
just talking about, well, we're from the other side. We were talking about Vancouver,
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
the Canadian Rockies.
Canadian Rockies.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
we
just
watched a show last night on train travel,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and there's one going through, leaves Vancouver and goes through the Rockies,
I want to do that one.
and that
it looked like a beautiful train.
beautiful trip. You know, the first class car with the meals that you get, and looking at that.
Yes.
I've gone to flew into Calgary, went over to Banff.
Yeah.
Banff,
Yeah,
and then
all the F's.
and then Lake Louise, and boy, gang, if you've never been up to Canada, they're all polite. It's kind of scary, but they're very, very nice, and the scenery is just drop dead gorgeous, just phenomenal. Very nice, and the food's great. I had reindeer pate when I was up there.
Oh, yum.
Oh, yes. Lots of venison goes on for sure. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, I just turned to a recipe,
Mhm.
oven roasted chicken with apricots, and it
Right.
calls for bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs.
Right.
Now, most people would think, no, I got to take the skin off because that's fat.
That's fat. Precisely, yes. Fat has gotten a bad rap, certainly over the last number of decades. And for babies especially, they need more fat. There is more fat required for their development. The brain needs a lot, and central nervous system need a lot of fat for its development. Doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to eat all the skin or eat all the big hunks of animal fat, but certainly cooking with it and then maybe removing it adds a lot of flavor to the dish as well. And so when you're looking to introduce a new person, a new person, to the whole palate, to the whole range of flavors, to get them to be a good, interested eater for the rest of their life, exposing them to all these things is important. But from a nutrition perspective, the fat is important. Not just chicken. I'm not saying that chicken fat is important, but I'm saying fat in all its ways, other than trans fats, is important for development of babies.
Now, why cook the chicken with the bone? Just for flavor?
For flavor, yeah. And it's cheaper to buy it with the bone in, right?
And then you remove the meat before you give it to the wee one?
Yes, yeah. You'd be chopping it up or maybe even pureeing it depending on the age.
Okay. Yeah,
See, I've always bought my chicken with the bone in and the skin on.
Yeah.
It just adds so much more flavor.
So much flavor. I do that all the time. And
he's a boneless guy.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So we have this battle constantly. So thank you.
She's feeding babies. I know I act like one most of the time, but that's not the point.
Oh, dear.
Okay, gang. She goes through a whole thing. How many pages is in this book? Now, how long's the book been out?
This book's been out for the last 3 months.
Okay, so it's brand new, right off.
Brand new
the press.
book. Yeah.
224 pages. And I'm telling you, it's not just for babies.
No,
It really isn't. Yeah.
It's not just for babies. It's a great book.
I imagine some of those foods, if you're not feeling very well, with the purees and things like that, you still want to get the nutrition, but you're not really ready for a solid meal.
And she's got healthy ice pops in here, like a mango mint, a chunky pineapple.
Especially after an operation.
Yeah, tonsillectomy or sore throats or strep or something like that.
Or just even instead of buying commercial ice popsicles that are made with maybe a little bit of juice. A lot of them will say made with 10% juice. Wow, isn't that great?
Yeah, I know. Flavor.
Are you dissing my Otter Pops?
What if you made it with just real pureed fruit and a little bit of
coconut
water
papaya, apple pie.
Yeah.
Very berry. Oh, there you are.
There you are. Very berry. But even the purees, as you said, you could use those on chicken or fish or on a pasta or spaghetti squash or something like that.
Yes.
So pretty much everybody can use all the recipes.
And boy, I tell you, those little pops are so popular right now. I know there's some stores that sell the little molds, and they're animals, and there's shapes.
The kids love them.
Oh yeah, it makes eating them fun.
We get our grandkids those molds for their different those different molds, and even different molds for their pancakes.
They love it.
They just love it.
Make eating fun, and they'll enjoy it.
Exactly. Make them part of it, and
Absolutely.
the sooner they get exposed to all these things, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Give them a spoon and a bowl and let them help stir.
Me, I would sit down at the dinner table. They go, "You're eating it all before you get up." Before I even tried it, I'm going, "Oh yeah, now I'm looking forward to it."
Yeah, Brussels sprouts might not have. I think we have a few recipes of Brussels sprouts in here too, but
we'll take a look. Right. Marlene actually,
I converted him.
She makes a Brussels sprout dish with bacon and
onions
and sherry and all sorts of good stuff.
Mushrooms.
Yeah. And we leave the sherry out, but certainly the bacon helps.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You give a little kid some alcohol, it quiets them right down.
I used to make my own a lollyberry brandy for when they were teething.
Teething, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick my finger in it.
Then she found out our son was drinking, and he goes, "I'm still teething."
Oh, you're teething. He's kidding.
Right, maybe that was our daughter. I don't know. One of the two. Now, how long did it take you actually to put this book together? It's quite extensive.
It is extensive. It probably took 6 months to put it together.
Okay.
Developing the recipes, Jordan took a long time to do that, of tasting and trying, but he'd already worked with his children by feeding them this way too. So a lot of these recipes, there's one called Jonah's mac and cheese, which
I saw that.
Which is terrific. So a lot of these recipes had come from the raising of his kids. So he had a lot of experience doing this.
And they're all still alive and kicking, right?
They are.
These are great recipes.
Thought I'd ask because there's someone on Radio Land going, yeah, but how are the kids actually doing?
That's right. Yeah.
So I thought I'd get that out of the way. All right.
And my boys have developed into really great eaters. So,
good.
Exposing them to a wide variety of tastes. And
how old are your sons?
They're in their teenage years now.
Oh, they got hollow legs.
Right.
You're never gonna fill them.
But they will eat everything now. So
you go to the local feed store and say, they want a plate. No, just give me one of those troughs. We'll just pour the food in and let them have it.
Pull the chair right up. Yeah.
Pull the chair. Ooh, we're getting fancy.
Well,
no, she's got some great recipes in here. We actually have 2 grandsons that we might actually try. They're a little older. They're past their toddler years, I would say.
Oh yeah, 9 and 6.
9 and 6.
But there's some great foods in here. I'm going to try some of those pops.
And there actually was. I know out of I've seen them on catalogs. And I don't know if they still sell them, but there was one of the kitchen stores that was actually selling a baby food cooker. And that's why I asked you at the very beginning if there was any special equipment you needed.
I think a Vitamix is the ideal.
I love my Vitamix. Yeah. I have it on the counter and I use it every single day for of things, but you don't need to have it. So I wouldn't want people to be frightened away from making any great recipes because they don't have expensive equipment. I really want to be non-alarmist with the book and say that anybody can do this. You don't have to be buy only organic or have an expensive blender. So
that's right.
Is the chef is he out of Canada also?
He's out of Toronto as well. Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
And does he work out of a restaurant or have his own restaurant or?
No, he does his own work because he and his wife also have a frozen baby food company.
Oh,
interesting.
Well, there you have it. So
we developed a lot of these recipes that were used that way as well.
Well, it's a natural form then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is this his first cookbook also?
No, he has done a number of other cookbooks as well. Oh. He's done some appetizer ones and I think some appetizer. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. But no, this is not his first,
Did he do it out of, the publisher is Robert Rose, right?
Yes.
Robert, he probably did them out of Robert Rose then.
He did them all with Robert Rose, that's right.
Oh, I'll have to ask Martine about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a one. You guys really lucked out. I deal with a lot of publicists, and she is right there on top of everything.
Yes, she is terrific. Always has everything that I need, yeah.
So, Martine, if you're listening, big kudos, thumbs up.
Thank you.
Nice book. Very nice
book.
Well, thank you very much, Marlene. Yeah.
Now, is there anything you'd like to, we're running low on time here, so is there anything you'd like to share? Now, you get this where Amazon and your finer bookstores and things like that?
Yes, I think Amazon is probably your best bet online, yeah.
All right. Okay.
And one thing I would like to say is that I'd like new parents to try and be a bit relaxed with feeding their babies. It can be kind of scary, and you can think about all the rules that you need to do, but really, you just feed them real whole food and get them on board with eating the way you're eating, and which hopefully is real whole food.
What age do they recommend starting real food now?
Around 6 months.
Okay.
And you're going to hear some people say, well, 4 months, and some people say longer is better to go without food if they can, nurse or breastfeed longer. Really, again, coming out of the Pediatric Association and that Academy for Allergy and Asthma, they're saying if we introduce things a little bit earlier, at around the 6 months, then we're giving the body a better chance to adapt to those foods. We used to think that if we waited longer, it would be better, but now we're finding no, not really.
There you go.
Make sure they get their fair share of dirt before.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff in that dirt.
Eat a peck. Yeah.
Young lady, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you. How's the weather back there?
It's a beautiful, beautiful day today.
Oh, here too.
Summer day.
All right.
Here too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Hey, I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you were listening to Flavors. Wait for the second hour. We got George Gary. Hot dang.
This is AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz.
CBS News, I'm Gary Nunn. The manhunt continues. A $100,000 reward now being offered by New York State for information leading to the capture of 2 convicted killers who broke out of a maximum security prison near the Canadian border early yesterday. New York State Police Major Charles Guess.
At this point, in excess of 150 leads have been developed since the escape was reported. The state police, docs, and federal investigative personnel, as well as surrounding agencies, are following up on each lead.
Allison Davis lives near the prison in Dannemora, New York, a lifelong resident of the town of 4900.
Never have I ever thought that this would happen, ever.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says the men cut through a steel plate and broke through a brick wall. He says it would have taken days to do it. This is the first escape from the prison since it was established in the community 150 years ago. President Obama began the first 2 days of meetings with the group of 7 leaders focusing on mending ties with Germany. Most of the first day of talks focused on Ukraine, Chancellor Angela Merkel saying any easing of European sanctions against Russia rests largely with the leadership in Moscow. White House spokesman Josh Earnest.
Preserving the unity and coordination of the United States and our European allies and partners has been critical to our efforts to maximize the impact of economic sanctions against Russia.
The EU has imposed both individual asset freezes and broader economic sanctions on Russian and pro-Russian separatist leaders. The hack of millions of government employee personnel files being treated now as the work of foreign spies who could use that information to break into more secure computers and swipe U.S. secrets. Texas Republican Michael McCall, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, says the breach is significant.
In my judgment, this was an attack by China against the United States government. It quantifies to espionage.
McCall on CBS's Face the Nation. Stan Wawrinka wins the men's singles title at the French Open.
I played my best tennis today. It was amazing match, amazing level. Was not easy, a little bit windy, and when you play Novak number 1, you have to go with your shot.
Wawrinka on NBC Sports topped Novak Djokovic in a match that lasted more than 3 hours, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, 6-4. South Korea has stepped up its efforts to contain the spread of MERS following the largest outbreak outside the Middle East.
The death of a 5th person in South Korea from the mysterious Middle East respiratory syndrome known as MERS is raising fears about the spread of the disease. More than 2,000 people are in isolation in South Korea, suspected of having come into contact with those carrying the virus.
Reporter Don Kirk in Seoul, Weekend at the Movies.
Raina Boyanov is about to sell a tactical nuclear weapon to a terrorist.
Spy is the tops of the box office, doing $30 million worth of business in its debut weekend. This is CBS News.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's July 4th weekend, live from Daytona. It's about rockets, red glare, white knuckles, and blue steel. Love taps, trading paint, and taking flags. It's friends, family, and a whole lot of faith. America, start your engines. NASCAR is back on NBC. The Coke 0400 Sunday, July 5th on NBC. Coverage begins July 4th on NBCSN.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts. Don't miss this limited time offer. We're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts, and also receive free shipping when you call right now. Call 800-393-6272. That's 800-393-6272.
From Pasatiempo to Pebble Beach, Red Hot News Talk, AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz.
Good afternoon, y'all. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz and AM 1340 KOMY La Selva Beach, Watsonville. It's June 7th, 2015. I'm Jason Struby here with your quick look at King of the Hill weather and traffic. Starting off on Highway 1, traffic is a mess, especially if you're headed northbound into Santa Cruz. You'll have to get through Capitola and Soquel first, and that might take a while because of an accident. They're still cleaning up there on 1 northbound at Park. Things won't clear up until almost the point where you get to Santa Cruz downtown area. So things are very slow all the way from La Selva Beach to Morrissey. Southbound, about the same, slow from Morrissey on down to about Rio Del Mar, clearing up after that. The other leg of 1 from Rio Del Mar south to Monterey area is very clear. 101 looking good other than northbound. As you approach Gilroy, you'll hit slow traffic there, but it does clear up north of that. And 101 southbound is clear. 152 still slow due to ongoing road work. 68, 156, and 129 are looking good, as is Highway 9. Central Coast weather outlook for today. We're going to have a sunny afternoon with highs in the lower 70s. Mostly cloudy overnight with lows in the mid 50s. And tomorrow, skies will be clearing gradually throughout the day for a sunny afternoon with highs in the lower 70s. Your boaters forecast for today. Things are calm. There are no boaters warnings to let you know about. The temperature in Santa Cruz is currently 72 degrees. The time's 1:06. Up next, it's hour 2 of Flavors with your hosts, Greg and Marleen. This is KSCO. Call me. Stand by.
It's time now for Flavors on KSCO, a show about food and wine and all the great things that go along with those two things. If you'd like to participate, our telephone number is 831-479-1080. That's 479-1080. And now we'd like to welcome our 2 favorite celebrity chefs on Flavors, Greg and Marleen.
Hello, everybody. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marleen.
And you are listening to Flavors. Best dinner you're having today. Hey, we've got something new for you. Marleen, why don't you share?
Well, we are playing right now with YouTube, and we are streaming live from the studio. So if you want to see the background of where we are.
If you'd like to see my bald spot. I just noticed
or my hair in a ponytail today. Look us up. Go to YouTube and search Flavors KSCO.
Yes.
And we'll pop up.
It will pop up, and we'll see how many people actually pop in. All right.
There you go.
Hey, no Wayne sighting today. I'm
Aw.
a little upset over this. I think I'm just going to cancel this.
That's all right. I have my boyfriend on.
You have your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Let's
bring him on.
Let's get the hunk on. Mr. George Gary.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great.
We're doing great. How
I've
are you?
missed you.
Well, we'll have to get back to Cantor's again soon.
There you go.
True. We met George before his
trip to France.
Oh, that's where I was going, right?
That's where you were going.
How was it?
Oh, it was phenomenal. It just every year it just gets better. It was my 21st season taking people to the south of France
and leaving them there.
Yeah. Well, the best I could do was to go with you via Facebook, and you did a wonderful job showing your day-to-day explorations and wonderful
George
culinary.
does culinary tours of the south of France.
Yes.
This time of year, and you did 2 of them this year, right?
Yeah, I did back to back, and it was difficult at first because I thought, why am I doing 2 weeks? I only do 1 normally, and then have 1 week of holiday vacation. But I did 2 full weeks. Then I took my nephew. He joined me over there for his graduation gift.
Oh.
So I gave him an ultimatum when he was in 8th grade. I didn't think he'd do it. I told him if he learned French, took 4 years, and got it a 4.0 every year, I'd take him to France. Stupid kid did it in 3 years.
Well, you were quite an incentive.
Wow, that'll teach you open your mouth. Wow.
How fun. Yeah, you looked like you guys were having a great time.
If you got a 4.0, wow.
Yeah, what was really funny is we rented an Airbnb, and I'm sitting there. Well, I was in the restroom area, and I hear the door knock, and I was like, oh, shoot, what's going on? And I hear him talking in French, just like he did it every day. He closes the door, and I was like, what was that? And he said, oh, it was the postman. He wanted to leave something. He's explained the whole thing to me. I was like, I'm so glad you got a 4.0.
Wow. Well, good for him.
Yeah.
He deserved that trip then.
Now, if anybody wants information on your trip, where do they go?
GeorgeGeary.com. GeorgeGeary. And I'm watching you both on YouTube. I wish I should do this so you can see me at the same time.
Oh, how fun.
Well, I said, let's aim the camera to Marlene. The other half's going to scare everybody. But I can show off my bald spot. Look.
Oh, dear. Okay. Well, we've
right.
got some great books that you've written that we can't wait to hear about.
Yes. And the first one is 150 best donut recipes. And it has pictures of police officers throughout the whole book. I don't know why.
You know, I bought my grandkids for their birthdays a donut machine.
Yeah.
Donut making machine.
It mixes up the batter at one end, drops it in a fryer, a conveyor belt, and drops it at the other end.
Oh, one that like they have over at Pike's Market in Seattle. They have one of those.
Right.
They're so excited.
We got them there, and our son, the father, looks at us and goes, "This is for us, really?" Yeah. That'll keep those little rugrats happy for a while.
Sounds good to me. Well, yeah. Friday was National Donut Day.
Yes, it was.
I thought about you when I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah,
because I get all my general, pertinent information of life on Facebook, these days. National Enquirer has kind of let me down over the years, so I'm going to Facebook next.
There you go.
Yeah, that and TMZ. Those are the two news
right.
in the world.
TMZ. They're full of good stuff.
Yeah, they're you don't want to be on that show, I'll tell you that.
No, and it's crazy. You really don't believe them, and then when it really comes out that it's true, you're like, wow, they are right.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because you don't think their stories are going to be true.
It's got a whole room full of people that go out and find the worst thing they possibly can on celebrities.
It's horrible, and we all want to know it too.
Yeah, I know. That's the bad part.
I'm waiting until they come out with alien stories. Then, of course, they'll probably get a lot more. Never mind. Won't go there. Anyway, let's start with we got 3 of your books to go through today. We've got a donut book, a salad and dressing book, and best food processor recipes.
Right.
So which one do you want to start with first? You're the guest.
Oh, let's go donut, since it was donut
okay.
day the other day.
So what got you into actually deciding that, oh, you know what? The world needs a donut book.
Well, when I was a kid growing up, my dad was in the Elks Club.
Yes.
Might still be.
Mine too.
Know. And it was Thursday night lodge meeting. And after lodge meeting, he would stop past Winchell's Donuts and get a dozen donuts. And every Friday morning, we knew there would be donuts in the kitchen, and I'd count them to make sure there were 12. I was counting all the time. I was making sure. Did anyone eat one before? And I still, Winchell's Donuts, there isn't very many of them. They got sold off, and if you notice, mostly down in South here, Southern California, the Winchell's Donut stores, that you can tell the sign or the type of store,
right? And
it'll say like Michelle's Donut Store. They'll take the M and turn it over.
We have one of those in Watsonville where you could see the outlining of the sign, but then it says somebody else's. And Winchell's actually started back when Tiny Naylor started. Tiny Naylor, Winchell's, Ships, all those guys were buddies at one time, and the Winchell's corporate thing was right off Valley View. I lived right down the street from it.
Yeah. In fact, I would stop coming back from LA into Orange County. I'd stop past that original, or that Winchell's Donut that was right there off the freeway.
Well, you had quite the day yesterday. I was watching you on Facebook, and you were all over the place.
Yesterday was my free day, and I thought I was going to just have an easy day. And in fact, somebody said, "Boy, you get around."
Those peaches looked fabulous. Did you make your jam?
Well, I do a two-process. To back up, I went to the Santa Monica's Farmers Market, and my publicist lives down the street, so we had coffee. And she said, "Why are you coming all the way here?" Which is an hour away, hour and 10 minutes from my house. And I said, "These peaches are grown by my house, but they don't sell them. And I want them tree ripened fruit.
Yeah.
So all the sugars are in that." And so I bought 15 pounds. And then I saw that I got white and yellow peaches. And then I also picked up about 15 pounds of blood oranges to make blood orange marmalade. So I started, when I got home, the peaches were just so ripe that I thought they aren't going to last till tomorrow or the next day to start working on this. My jam recipe, it takes 2 days. I got it from Russ Parsons from the LA Times. So it's a 2-day process. It's easy, but it is a 2-day process. So
Trina's your publicist.
Trina does publicity work for me. Yep.
Wonderful. Nice gal. Yeah. She's actually, I've been working with her for about the shows, as long as the show's been going on, for around 1.5 years. She's her and Carrie Bachman were my first two publicists I was doing with.
Yeah. Trina assisted me last year on my French tour, and she said, "This is a lot harder than I thought." And I said, "It is difficult to keep 10 people happy the whole time."
Oh, yeah.
Mostly if they don't drink, it really is a pain.
Well,
yeah.
Don't want to do one of those trips. Oh, there's food with this trip also? I just figured it was alcohol. I was in.
I did have a husband and wife that were really great. The husband wasn't really into food, and he said, "I didn't know so many people, all they do is talk about food all the time," after about the third day, because we were talking about food all the time. So,
well, you went to I saw a picture. You went to a cheese shop. Oh my God.
Oh, the Centery. It's in Cannes. It's on the street there, not far from the film festival, because we were there during the film festival also.
Oh, wow. With your nephew or with the tour?
No, the tour.
The tour, okay.
The tour. Yeah, and the Centery cheese shop is, I think it's 4th generation, and I do a whole cheese class one night with the cheeses, and so we go in there, and you just start looking at all these cheeses, and you think they're just you just want to buy more and more and more. He has to keep telling me, "No, you don't need any more." When I purchased, $40 in cheese, which is very expensive for that you wouldn't do that normally, but for my classes, we do that. So
wow,
wonderful.
No, we go to cheese shops locally here and down in the Paso Robles, and we always buy more cheese than we actually should, but it's so good. What's the one cheese we get? We're part of a wine club where we get Pinotage.
Saint Azure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. And just a little bit on a toothpick, and you take a little sip of your Pinotage, and then you eat your cheese and you drink some more. Oh my God, you're in heaven. It is just so delicious.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
Nothing wrong with that.
Greg, back to donuts.
Well, before we do that, got to say, one of his other books that we've actually interviewed him for was his cheesecake book. And George was kind enough to make us a couple of cheesecakes when we met with him. And they were delicious.
Very different.
I asked for the savory ones.
They're not your traditional sweet cheesecake dessert.
They were delicious. And I hear a rumor that George's savory cheesecakes might be out in the regular markets here pretty soon.
Oh.
So
you just never know.
You just never know. And I didn't say that, but that's what I
didn't hear you say it.
But that's what I hear. And they are good. Okay. To donuts.
They're good too.
We're back on donuts now.
Well, before the show's over, we might as well talk about something here.
Well, let's take our commercial break first.
Now we got to take a break. George, hang in there. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marleen.
You are listening to Flavors, the George Gary edition.
You may already know Cardinale Moving provides residential moves, but did you know we provide much more? Small or large, we move it and store it. Our services include moving, inventory management, transportation, installation, and storage. We have worked with dozens of business centers, galleries, hotels, contractors, and designers to move items in and out of a place. We provide free, no obligation quoting. Call us at 831-632-4100.
Moving and storage, don't make a move without us.
Greetings, folks. This is Randy the Realtor. You may have heard my ads before on this station, and I'm here to tell you that MZ is right. He doesn't let stupid people listen to his radio station. Everyone who called me because they heard my radio spots have been very intelligent and wonderful people that I was glad to even have had a conversation with. A couple of my most recent contacts are Louis and Susan. They recently opened an antique clock shop in Aptos on the corner of Trout Gulch and Soquel Drive. Go by and visit them. If you need a nice antique clock or need one repaired, stop in and see them. If you need to buy or sell a home, give me a call. I'll make your transaction run like clockwork. Call Randy the Realtor at 831-566-2590. That's 831-566-2590. Or visit my website at aptoshomefinder.com.
Did you know that solar power in California is the biggest story in global energy? That's right, the rest of the world is watching California right now. But even if you don't care about global energy, with sky-high PG&E bills, solar power is a great investment that could save you thousands, but it pays to be educated. So tune in to Solar Uprising, Tuesdays from 8 to 9 right here on KSCO, and learn how to keep your power local.
Wildfires burn millions of acres across the country each year. And each year, wildland firefighters battle to contain them, but they can't do it alone. For some communities, it's not a question of if wildfires strike, but when. And a single ember can travel more than 1 mile. As it twists and turns and floats through the air, that single ember can find its way to where you live and can ignite and destroy your home or your community. That single ember can be just as dangerous as the wildfire itself. You can't control where the ember will land, but you can control what happens when it does. You can take action now to prepare your home and your community for wildfire. Get fire adapted. Learn what you can do now to reduce wildfire damage later at fireadapted.org. Prepare, protect, prevail. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Learn more at fireadapted.org.
Okay, we are back. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
And you are listening to Flavors. Marlene, we're doing our first YouTube podcast.
Yes, live.
Live.
So tune in to YouTube and search Flavors KSCO. And you can watch.
And you can watch us live, and you actually get to hear us talk when we're off the air.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Good thing I kept it clean.
Yeah. We don't have to keep it clean when we're off. Well, I imagine we do. Is there rules at YouTube or?
Probably.
Don't know. I understand you can't show your breasts, so I won't take my shirt off.
Thank goodness.
But other than that.
Okay,
we're back. George, you with us?
Mm-hmm. I am, but you know what? I'm listening. I'm watching on YouTube, and I could not hear anything that you guys said during the break. I could hear your mouth move. Just to let you know.
Okay.
I could hear your commercials.
Oh, you could hear the commercials, but you couldn't hear our voices.
Oh, okay. He couldn't hear our voices.
Okay.
Well, we've got the tech.
Our tech guy is looking at us like, what? So that's good to know.
Okay, we'll pass that along.
Got to get these bugs out.
He's checking
but
it.
that might actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
Knowing me.
Oh, we're doing good. Okay.
We're doing well. Okay. Fantastic.
All right.
Okay, George, let's get to business here.
Okay.
Oh, what the hell? Or I got to bring you on next week so we can actually do the show. Okay. 150 best donut recipes. Now, your dad would bring bribes home after Elks.
Yeah, and so I just love donuts. And at the time, I was shopping it around a little bit, and then Robert Rose picked it up because I was on an option of my next book didn't go to him. Okay. And it was interesting because a lot of the publishing houses had donut books in the works.
Oh, wow.
And I think my book was one of 4 that year that came out.
Wow.
So it was fascinating that other companies were thinking the same thing along the line I was.
Well, when I got this book, I always go, oh, that's a neat idea. And I look up to see what other books are out there. And this one, gang, was by far the best. So I lucked out in getting the best right off the bat.
People think it's hard to make a donut. I mean, they're just intimidated.
I think it's the hot oil part, having to boil so much oil, they think. And another colleague of mine that came out with a donut book at the same time, we were sitting and talking at one of our conventions, and she says, so did you get one of those fryers? And I said, I had one, but it only would do like 6 donuts at a time. I didn't like it. So what I did, I thought I used a cast iron pan. That worked okay, but it wasn't deep enough. So I used a wok. And that's what I did most of my donut frying in. It kept the temperature really nice. And a Joyce Chen wok is what I used.
Oh, no. Now Greg's got to buy a bigger wok.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Little gleam in my eye just came
any
over.
Excuse to go see his friend at the wok shop in San Francisco.
The wok shop in San Francisco.
There you go.
Free plug here. Wok. They are fabulous.
That's his girlfriend.
That's my Chinese girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed to say.
Yeah.
No, she's a
sweetheart.
Sweetheart. And okay, now special equipment. What do you need to make a donut here?
Well, here we go back to the Asian culture. Using chopsticks to turn the donuts in the fry. But half of the book is baked and half is fried. So if you go like to Wilton pans, they have a donut pan that there's 6 of them, and it's almost like baking a muffin in those. And they are just as good. In fact, when I do morning shows with donuts, I always do a baked donut instead of a fried donut. It's a lot easier to make.
Do they come out nice and crispy too?
They come out in a scale of 1 to 10. I'd give them a 7.5.
Oh, okay.
But I would give them a 10 as far as cleanup and a mess.
Yeah,
sure,
absolutely.
And I would give them a 1 as far as they don't last very long. So, it's one of those things.
Now they have I see a picture of a KitchenAid mixer in here. You use a mixer to mix up your dough.
In the yes.
Okay.
I was thinking of both of them, yes.
And you can actually buy a donut cutter, little metal donut cutter too.
Right, yeah. And then there's about 10 different types of cutters you can use. and the donut one works really well. I was fascinating in the equipment wasn't readily available. So what I did is I would make a donut cutter out of a larger circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would be able to make a smaller circle in the dead center.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And I like how, and it's fairly easy. I mean, you use a cake decorating tip with bag for your jellies and sauces on the inside of your donuts.
Yeah, and that's exactly what bakeries do. They use a injector.
I know,
but it has a tip like that.
I've got
you have one of those too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next time I come up there, I'm going to see all of your stuff.
Yeah. I'm a married man, George, but thank you. You've made my day, and I'm going out of the show with a smile on my face. All right. No, he's got everything from the cinnamon twist here. Wow, this is pretty cool, and he's got some nice color pictures in here that kind of give you an idea of what it's supposed to look like.
I love his pictures and his explanations.
Key lime donuts.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, when that book came out, I also did a story for USA Today, and it's still online. At the time, we didn't call it the 10 best donut stores. I love the travel section of USA Today. About once a month, they do a 10 of something that you have to see. Mm-hmm. And last week was 10 Frank Lloyd Wright houses you need to see. And I did the story on 10 donut stores you had to see in America. And I wasn't allowed to do more than one in California or one in a certain state. And I had to have them around the country. And I got more tweets and emails from donut store owners saying, why didn't you pick me? You didn't taste my donuts. Mine are the best. Next time you come here, one in Buffalo, New York, and I was going to Buffalo. When I said, well, I'll stop by, but, I've already done this. Well, you need to taste mine. So I'd go by. I came out of there with 5 dozen donuts, and I was on the trip by myself. I love donuts, but I can't eat 5, even though 1 dozen anymore. So it was quite humorous on the type of emails I was getting on.
Yeah.
Which one did you do? Which one did you do out of California?
Well, I also narrowed the countdown to crazy donuts, like we all know Voodoo Donuts up in Seattle or Portland. I mean, that does Captain Crunch on their stuff. So I did some crazy ones in there, and I did some regular All-American. The one I did All-American, the Donut Man in Glendora, he was upset I didn't do his place, but. Mm-hmm. The reason why I didn't is he has 2 great donuts, but they're very seasonal. He does a fresh peach and a fresh strawberry. Ooh. And you can't get those in January, so I wasn't going to use him.
They're all my one of my best friends growing up was in Glendora. They're all angry in Glendora anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Well, there you go. So what I did is I used the Bob's Donuts in Farmers Market in Los Angeles.
Okay. All right. That's right off of La Cienega, isn't it?
3rd and Fairfax.
3rd and Fairfax. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
And if I do a morning show down in downtown, I'll always go past there and pick up donuts. So, don't tell my station in San Diego that I do that, because I do take them food, but no donuts.
No one listens to this show anyway, so don't worry about it. But now that we're on podcasts, I mean, the world's going to look good. YouTube, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about when I saw the thing for Friday was National Donut Day, or was it International Donut Day?
National.
Just national? Okay. They used Randy's out of Inglewood.
Oh, and the only reason why they use that one, I mean, they're good if they're open.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's 8 of those giant donut places still left in Southern California.
Oh, there are?
Yeah, but they aren't called Randy's. They were, I think that one was Angel's Donuts or something like that. And they still have their national landmarks. That one was best known for being on Jay Leno. Every time he was monologue at the front, they'd have that. And I have a great picture when they brought the space shuttle out of and brought it into downtown. There's a picture of it next to it because they use that as the parking lot for a few hours. So Randy's got the space shuttle sitting there.
Wow. Did you ever go to it was a hot dog stand off of, I want to say Cahuenga, but it was called the Big Weenie. You remember that?
No.
I had an office right up the street from it. Oh, never mind. We won't go there.
They were good, huh?
They were good. Anyway, guys, if you like donuts, your kids like donuts, and donuts aren't the cheapest thing out there as far as what
Not
you
anymore.
get. I mean, they're very convenient to go to a donut house, but if you eat donuts on a regular basis, or even if you don't, get the book. It's pretty cool. I'm looking at some stuff, and there was some really neat
And
things.
what's the name of the book, Greg?
Well, the book is called 150 Best Donut Recipes, Fried or Baked. So for people that are anti-frying anything,
You can bake them too.
You can bake
Yeah.
the damn things. By George.
Yeah, they're really easy.
By George Gary. Okay, let's move on to the next one because we're going to start running out of the show here pretty soon. 350. My God, the numbers just get bigger. 350 best salads and dressings.
I have the hardest time making salads. I love eating salads, but I like other people to make them.
Well, in fact, you both follow me on Facebook, and on Friday was a busy day also. I did the morning show that I do down in San Diego.
Well, that's what
and
good
then-
stalkers do. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then that afternoon, I went to a school, and I taught salad dressing making and talked about what pastry chefs or chefs do besides cooking. And I do a lot with canola oil up in Canada. And so I made some homemade salad dressing so they all would know. The price of a bottle of dressing is almost $5 now, $4.49 for a good brand. And then you can make it, and I show all the ingredients in that to the kids, and they're fifth graders. So they're kind of coherent of what's going on, and they look at this, and I say, do you even know what these gum acids are? Can you buy it at the grocery store? And they all look at me like, no, and they try to guess. And then I say, all right, we're going to make salad dressing with 3-4 ingredients, and that's it, and shake it up, and there you go. And I let them taste the difference between the two also. They've grown all their lettuce in their little plot of land outside their classroom.
How fun.
So it really opens their eyes to, and I tell them, you have to work, if you work at Starbucks, you have to work a full, half hour, 45 minutes to buy this bottle of salad dressing.
That's right. That's a good perspective to tell them.
And if you make it at home, then you just go to your mom's and get all the ingredients. It doesn't cost you anything.
Absolutely. So my salad dressing book came out of Kathy Thomas from the Orange County Register. She came over to my house to do a photo shoot on the Cheesecake Bible. And while she was here, she opened my refrigerator and she said, you don't have any salad dressing, because she had a salad of some sort she was going to eat. And I said, no, I make my own pretty much. And she said, well, I think you need to do a book on that. And I thought, well, that sounded kind of interesting. I never even thought of it. And I just came up with all these different dressings. And when I was in Europe, I went to a steakhouse, an Argentinian steakhouse in Amsterdam. And the guy says, or the gal, it doesn't really matter, but the wait person says, do you want salad dressing? And I said, sure. She says, we have American, we have Italian, we have German, and we have French. And I thought, well, I know what French is. I know what Italian is. Don't know what German dressing is. And what would American be?
Yeah.
I thought ranch maybe.
Uh-huh.
So I picked the American, and I think it was sugar and water with a little bit of spice.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what that was, but that was another reasoning for the salad dressing book. And my main thing was, as a kid, when Ranch Packet Hidden Valley Ranch mix came out, and my mom would mix it with a cup of mayonnaise, a cup of buttermilk, and shake it up, and it tasted really good. Then I don't want to mention any names, but there's a company with starts with a K, and they have salad dressing in a squeeze bottle, and they started making ranch, and I thought, this tastes like metal. It doesn't taste anything close to what
I tasted the same thing in my arts and crafts store.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Absolutely. So I thought, I know they have to put all these things, because if we went into somebody's home that has kids that does salad, because we were raised, you had salad, then you had dinner.
Right.
That's right.
there'd be 4 bottles of dressing on the table because I would want ranch. My mom, somebody would want Thousand Island or something. And the taste, these bottles have to last a year to 2 years in the refrigerator because people don't go through them.
No, right.
I know why they have to put all the stablers in them, but I just don't want to eat them. And not that I'm worried about my health. It's more of I don't like the taste, the aftertaste. So
I don't
with
either.
salad dressing.
Well, we actually will make breaded mozzarella sticks, and I'll bake those, and because I don't want to set up a fryer. But I remember one time going, you know what? Let's remember buttermilk dressing. We look at it, oh, that stuff was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the packet, and like you said, mayonnaise, buttermilk, and then you take this and shake it all up. And it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, we got to start making more of our own salad dressings. Marlene makes one with blood orange vinaigrette,
Blood orange olive oil, and raspberry vinaigrette.
Raspberry vinaigrette. Oh, it's a spinach salad. It is delicious.
Well, Marlene, you come to France with me, you're going to have to get another suitcase, which on Wednesday is our suitcase buying day. Because we've gone to the olive oil place where Julia Child used to get all her olive oil. And they're doing all these infused olive oils now with blood orange peel and hot pepper oils and things like that. And it sounds like I just walk through there and think of all these salad dressings to make. I could do a whole nother book of 350 best salads.
Oh,
George, hang in there. We got to take our last break of the show. We'll be back, though. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
You're listening to Flavors.
Hey, all you Brightside Ben fans. If you have never had a chance to see pharmacist Ben Fuchs' health lecture about how the human body works at a cellular level, now is your chance. Brightside Ben will be in Santa Cruz on Saturday, June 27th for a midday health presentation. It will last approximately 2 hours, with plenty of time for questions and answers at the end. If you or anyone you know is dealing with health issues that you are ready to find solutions for, this presentation is exactly what you've been waiting for. We want to help you get well, so this event is free to the general public. Seating is limited. We wanted to give you an early heads up. If you have never had a chance to see pharmacist Ben Fuchs' health lecture about how the human body works at a cellular level, now is your chance. The venue is to be announced in the weeks to come, and the event will be in the mid-afternoon. Call to reserve your seating at 831-216-6099. That's 831-216-6099. 831-216-6099.
Hey, Patricia, I heard you were setting up a new home office.
Yeah, Sam, I've been staring at this Home Office for Dummies book for hours, and I still can't figure out the difference between a LAN and a WAN.
We'll call User-Friendly Computing. They can help you set up an internal home network.
But what about my wireless printer?
What about it? They have all the answers to your network, workstation, or internet problems. They even provide outsourced IT for businesses big or small. User-Friendly Computing provides professional guidance to you for new computer purchases or network configurations. They also provide on-site professional support to your staff for everyday computer and network issues. User-Friendly Computing is locally owned at 505 River Street across from the Gateway Plaza, or you can give them a call at 831-423-9653. That's 831-423-9653.
Hey parents, finding it hard to communicate with kids in today's world of ever-changing slang? Hi son. Excuse me? Introducing the Communicizer. Just strap non-toxic Communicizer to your mouth and go from boring old man speak, I'm here if you want to talk, to 100% off the chain.
Text me whenever, yo.
It's that easy.
Thanks to Communicizer, I'm relevant to my kids again. I'll fly, boo.
And now when you buy Communicizer, you get the auto-tune attachment free. Sounds so hip-hop, your kids will want to talk to you for hours.
I used to have to walk 3 miles uphill to school every morning, Shorty.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
Communicizer is not available in stores because it doesn't exist. But that's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Adopt Us Kids and the Ad Council.
Okie doke, we are back. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marleen.
You're listening to Flavors with our very, very special guest, George Gary. George, you still with us?
I am. I could never leave you two.
But you only invited her to France, so I'm a little hurt right now, but that's okay.
Well,
he'll get over it.
Oil.
Yeah,
There you go.
She'll bring back olive oil.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's. We're running out of time as always, but we went through your 150 best donuts, 350 best salads and dressings. Oh, before I jump off of that, I love Thousand Island dressing on burgers. You have a Thousand Island dressing in there that can be thickened up for burgers?
Yeah, that's interesting you mentioned that because my older sister, if you don't make certain things for the holidays, she won't come. And one time I made ham and she wasn't very happy with me because she likes turkey.
Was that by design?
No, I just was tired of turkey and I thought, well, you're coming to my home, so I'm going to cook what I want.
Right.
So when I was working on the book, I did a Thousand Island dressing that Mom had made, and she said, well, I wanted ranch. And I said, I don't have any. All I have is Thousand Island. Well, it was rare for her to want to take the rest home. So I was like, wow. So
Wow. That must be a good one.
yeah. So my sister could eat 5 different things, and that's it, her whole life. And I know one is meatloaf, and she's very upset that Lowry's stopped doing the meatloaf seasoning. So, but as far as Thousand Island, the one in the book, you use a food processor, and you can just pulse it so it's chunky.
Okay.
Or you can go ahead and pulverize it so it's runnier.
Okay.
And we're used to Thousand Island dressing being an orange color, and it really was never an orange color.
What color was it?
So it was, well, it's not orange.
Was it like purple?
But it's green.
Green.
No, it doesn't really have a color profile.
Oh, okay. It's almost like a dirty mayonnaise.
There you go, because it has some pickles in it.
Relish.
It doesn't have, it has some relish stuff. It doesn't have a red tomato base as much.
What about that relish that they put on Bob's Big Boy hamburgers?
That's in my other book called 500 Best Sauces, Salad Dressings, Marinades, and More.
I think we've got that one. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that one, I think I'll call it the secret sauce.
Secret sauce?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's called secret sauce.
All right, let's move on. We went from 150 to 350. Now the big boy, 650 best food processor recipes.
Okay, before you get started, I'm going to ask George a question. People are so afraid of using a food processor.
Oh, that's a statement.
Yeah,
And
they're
that-
just totally intimidated.
You stick your fingers in one time.
Yeah.
Well, you can't even.
No, you can't.
My third book that I did was called 125 Best Food Processor Recipes. And when I started doing my other books, like the Complete Baking Cookbook, I created all the recipes to be able to be done in a food processor besides a mixer. So almost every recipe can be put into a food processor and done.
Mm-hmm.
And when the publisher came to me and said, he'd like a big food processor book, and they would take some of the recipes from the other books that I've done that were really popular. And then Judith, the co-author of that book, that was my last and first and only so far co-authored book, and Judith is his wife. And so she has a number of books, slow food or slow cooker books and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we put them together and made that 650 recipe book. My first thing I get all the time is they hate using it. People don't use it because they have to wash it. Oh, it's horrible to wash.
Yeah.
And my thing with it is you have to wash your mixer too. And the whole thing goes into the dishwasher, your bowl and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So next, I believe by Christmas, if you've ever looked on the website Craftsy,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be on there. I'm filming it in a couple weeks, and it'll be all on food processor.
Oh, good.
That's out of Denver, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. We film in Denver. and it'll go into the details on how to use your food processor. Don't be afraid of it. It's not that hard to wash. The original food processor book, I did 14 cookie recipes in the book, and I created them in flavor order to where you could start with the first one and go all the way to 14 straight down and not have to wash your food processor.
Oh,
that must have been very popular for the college students.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's what we do in bakeries. We don't wash the mixing bowl till the very, very end of the day.
Right.
So where if you're making cakes, you start with white cake, yellow cake, you might do a spice cake, then a carrot cake, and then chocolate cake, and then fudge brownies. So if there were 6-8 recipes right there, and we don't wash the mixing bowl. And that's how you do it during the holidays. People do a lot of baked goods and cookie making. And so I created all the recipes. And my editor, she said, these need to be in alphabetical order. And I said, the cookie recipes, I said, no, they need to be in flavor order. And she didn't get it because she's an editor, but she doesn't cook.
Oh my.
I said they have to be in flavor order. And so I was very picky on that one. But this 650 food processor recipe, there were so many cookie recipes we couldn't put it in flavor order. But you can do that in your head. You can think of what's stronger, a butter cookie or a chocolate cookie. And that's where you go with it.
Well, they've got some wonderful pictures in here, from salsa to what's very popular in this area, spinach and artichoke dip. And I imagine that's one that you mix up and then you bake afterwards, right?
Right. Yep. And that's a real popular one. The appetizers, I think, are probably some of the most fun in the food processor. I've got a salmon pate that you use smoked salmon. I created that back when I worked at Marriott Hotels back in the 80s.
I heard from that other theme park that they're not treating their employees very well.
No, they're cast members. And what's funny about that is as soon as I get off the phone with you today, I'm going to a party that I don't do anything at Disney anymore. Those of you know that I was the pastry chef there. And I'm going to show up for an anniversary party for our division. So I've been around for 25 years. So I thought, okay, I'll show up. The gal putting it on worked there when Walt lived.
Okay.
So she called and said, "Oh, won't you please show up to this thing?" And I thought, okay, so I'm going to show up for the last half hour.
Very nice. Very nice.
Let's see, some recipes in here. Rack of lamb with lemon mint sauce. There's a picture in here. Chicken Rockefeller. That looks really good.
Now, you don't put the whole rack of lamb in the food processor.
No.
Or debone it first anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. But it helps you with different things like soups and things like that. Food processors, I always say when someone is going to be purchasing one, don't go for the really inexpensive one that you get at the outlet mall. Go for something that technically Cuisinart, they invented them back in the day to an extent for the home use. That was the very first piece of equipment I asked for. I think I was still in high school.
You remember?
I wanted one.
You remember Moulinex? What was it called?
Yeah.
I don't think I make those anymore.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
Oh, and I always say, how many people are in your family, and do you want to make bread? If you want to do bread in the food processor, a lot of people like to do heavy doughs. Get a larger than you need food processor.
Right.
Can you make your donut dough in the food processor?
Not so much.
Okay. All right.
A little more runny.
Yeah, it's a little runny, and then you would be mad at me. You'd say,
well, this book has some fabulous pictures in it, and again, the recipes are easy to understand, easy to follow.
Coconut spice pork tenderloin with quinoa and peanuts.
That looks
that's
good.
a little of everything there.
That's a little bit of everything in here.
A lot of recipes in here.
Wow. Now, this looks really good. Look at that.
Ooh, what's that? What
is that? How are we going to pronounce
tortilla?
It? Looks like a meat pie. It's called tortilla.
That yeah, and I bet you that's one of Judith's recipes. because I don't recognize that one. In fact, we didn't star or say this was Judith's or this is mine on purpose. And the writing had to be changed because her type of writing and mine are different. Every writer has their different style.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And so we would have to change a lot of the head notes and things like that. And if you notice in the book, it also has, the only book that they've done it with mine that shows ahead of time if it's vegetarian or vegan. So there's a lot of vegan and vegetarian recipes in that.
Wonderful. We've got a lot of people in this area that are vegans and vegetarians.
That's right.
And anymore.
And then
all over.
potatoes au gratin. Yum.
That's one of his favorites.
That is the favorite. You could just put stuffed cabbage or potatoes au gratin in front of me, and I'd be a happy camper for days.
Yeah.
Yeah, after you get out of the hospital.
Sun-dried tomato. I'm ignoring both of you now. Sun-dried tomato pesto bread.
Ooh, that looks good.
Yeah, that one's one of mine that I did a class years and years ago, a hands-on cooking class that was at a community college, and I had to create. Everyone was in kitchens, 6 people per kitchen. You had to do 6 loaves of bread in 4 hours, and I had to create some of the recipes in the food processor because we only had 1 mixer per group.
Wow.
But we had 1 food processor per group too. So I thought, all right, we're just going to have to maneuver these pieces of equipment around. So that was why I did that one, the sun-dried tomato.
Wow, this is just a fabulous book.
It
it's
really gives you everything there.
Scones, lots of scones. Oh, I love my scones.
Now, when you go to your event this
Ooh,
afternoon,
peach scones.
When you go to your event this afternoon, I'll pay you a whole $1 US if you get out the very end and go, Knott's Berry Farm rules. You people suck.
A whole $1. Wow.
Well, hey, that's US.
Oh, wow.
And we're on the air. It's being taped, so I can't back out.
Oh, peach with raspberry coulis and passion fruit sorbet.
Now, a lot of people don't know because we're up here in Northern California or Central California, depending on your outlook on life. But you actually are on a TV show down in San Diego.
Yeah, I do a segment on San Diego Living, and it's all the way in San Diego, which makes a lot of sense, calling it San Diego Living. And I was gone for a month, and we taped a few shows ahead once in a while. And while I was gone for the month, the weather girl moved to an NBC station, and one of the news anchors moved to Minneapolis or somewhere around in there, or Minnesota. And so I thought it was fun. I called in and I said, okay, we're going to be doing some shows on Friday. I said, do I have to do the weather and the anchoring too? Because everyone's leaving over there. But they brought new people. In fact, we have somebody from San Francisco doing the weather now. And she makes everything from scratch. She was standing there. I wish we would do filming between the station breaks, the things that we all are doing, and the music that's playing, and we're all dancing around and doing stupid things, or we're running with our heads chopped off trying to get things.
But you know what? That's the fun stuff. I mean,
yeah.
Marleen likes to watch MasterChef, and I can't stand that show. Ramsay's a lot of fun when he humiliates somebody and they can run out crying. But other than that, the show, I don't care for the show because it's so contrived.
They're not teaching anybody anything.
They go, well, don't you want to learn? And I'm sitting there because we've watched a few seasons of it, and I'm forced to, by the way. And they don't teach him anything. They more or less said, you are going to make the iconic dish of North Dakota. Everyone's looking at each other like, what? It's sheep balls. You go, oh, okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then they rip them apart, even though they don't know how to prepare whatever dish that they're supposed to. And then, and then they go, well, if someone says something back, it goes, you're here to learn. What are you learning?
Mm-hmm.
So when you were mentioning the off the air taping, that would be the better part of the show, I think.
It really it's fascinating when the news is before us for an hour, a couple hours before, and then the whole set goes black. It's kind of like I joke and say, "Oh, the other station's paying for the electricity, so they start up the lights back in the studio.
There's a switch,
And
a
that 2
toggle
seconds-
switch back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. So those 2 seconds, I'm normally trying to hurry up because as soon as the show starts, I come on with an adult beverage. And I did Moscow Mules on Friday.
We saw the cup. We saw the cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those will be in my next book that comes out next year. And so I was trying to get these ready to go because as soon as the anchors are sitting in the living room, they call it, which is a corner, I'm thinking, and so the lights go down. And I'm thinking, if I spill and drop these, then I wasn't mic'd up, and I should have my mic. And so I'm screaming not screaming, but yelling ahead, where's my mic? And they're trying to figure out, and they're counting down. We have 10 seconds left.
Oh,
And the mic guy
jeez.
runs over to me. We throw that thing on me so fast, retie my apron. And you would think everything's calm and nothing's happening, but we are jumping around with our heads chopped off.
Well, speaking of 10 seconds later, we're out of time.
There you go.
George, it was a pleasure having you on. We're going to have you on again very, very soon. Let's see, I'm on my second one. Okay. Anything you'd like to say? Parting words.
My parting words?
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
I hope to see you guys very soon.
You will.
There you
I'll be
go.
giving you a call later this week. George, have a good one.
Both of you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, George. Bye-bye.
Hey, want to thank everybody. We've done another show. Want to thank everybody, our listeners, anyone that popped into our podcasting. How many people watched? Well, when we get that number, we'll come back. Probably millions. How many?
12.
12. Okay, cool. All right. On and off.
All right.
All right, we're on our third one. Want to thank all our listeners, our sponsors, MZ and K, our board guys, all the staff here. We're having a good time. I hope you guys are having a good time. I'm Greg.
And I'm Marlene.
Remember, keep your hot foods hot.
And your cold foods cold.
And remember,
flavor is everything.
Bye.
Your source for news, sports,